Hey y'all, I was on mute. Good evening, y'all. Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole, and welcome back to another live. Y'all, we gotta talk. We gotta talk about this situation. Once again, another day, more violence in our community. Like I just don't get it. But we're gonna talk about it. Um, it probably won't be anything new that you all have not heard because unfortunately and fortunately, this story has gone viral and it should go viral because it's ridiculous, it's shameful, it's sad, it's upsetting, it's bringing more trauma to our community. It's just overall sad situation. But fortunately, because something is going to get done about what happened to 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson. This young lady supposedly went on a trip with her friends and never made it back home. So, y'all, we're going to talk about it, but this live is strictly commentary and just my reaction to kind of what happened. I tried my best to kind of wait to kind of give my commentary on it because it's just a lot of videos, it's a lot of news reports, the story is unfolding. There are a lot of details, of course, that we don't know about. And I'm sure a lot more will come out. Y'all know y'all probably sick of me saying it, but I'm still under the weather. My voice may not be um tip top, but I got my tea, y'all. I have peppermint and raspberry tea, just like some tea to just soothe my throat. Like my throat doesn't hurt, it's just like my voice is not back yet. But so I hope that I'm able to bring a little bit of different commentary, different perspective on the this story. I'm so glad that a lot of people in our community are talking about it because it needs to be talked about. What happened to Shanquella should not have happened, right? Um, but I will say I see and I know, or I've heard of people looking at videos, even on YouTube, of young women fighting and just and I'm like, why do you watch that? What is the benefit? At first, I know the video is kind of circling of whatever happened in Cabo, right? Because this young lady, and I put hashtag hood-ish because that's what it is. This is some hood-ish. Who does something like this? Right? And we don't even know. Like I didn't even see any particulars about the video or anything like that. But this young woman, 25 years old, she had her own business. She's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Or yeah. And she had her own business braiding hair, and she went on vacation with, I believe it was 6 or 7 friends to Cabo. I believe they had an Airbnb. And y'all, again, this is just my commentary, action, opinion. Everything is alleged unless it's not. I don't really, this is just for teaching purposes of what happens after these things happen, when if or understanding if we really are around friends or foes for real. Like I can't even, sometimes when these things come out, I can't even find the words because it's just too much. Like just the other day we were talking about Takeoff, dying from gun violence. Like it's just getting more and more ridiculous every day. But she went to Mexico. She went to Cabo with I believe it was 6 or 7 of her friends, and she wasn't even there 24 hours, and she died. And so the friends, one of the friends, I believe, called her mom and told her that she had alcohol poisoning. Apparently they went to Cabo for one of the other friends' birthday. I guess it was a birthday trip, but that friend wasn't even there until the day after. And apparently, allegedly, when he got there, the friends that were already there said that she had alcohol poisoning, and he he was saying, I saw a video of his. Um, he was saying that he got there and he was just she was kind of like, I mean, it sounded like to me the way that he described it that she was like lifeless or whatever, and he couldn't believe his friend was like just laying there like that. Um, and then the friends left Mexico, came back to America. How, first of all, this is why I put friend or foe, y'all. But before I get into that, have y'all ever seen that movie? It's called What About Your Friends? That's what it's called. I believe it came out in 94 or 95. Might have been 94. And I remember this movie vividly because it was the first time that I had seen, aside from like school days and stuff like that, because I think the first time I saw it, it was like random. I wasn't looking for the movie or anything like that. And I just started watching it. I was like, oh, it's a good movie. So it was with, I believe Lark Voorhees was in that movie. Um, Monica Calhoun was in there, and it was a group of friends. It was three black girls, right? And they were seniors in high school, and all of them were, kind of from the hood or whatever. If I remember correctly, I think one of them might have lived in like the suburbs or something, but they were all friends. And they had decided that, they were all going to go to school, they were going to go to college, they were so excited about it. And if I remember again correctly, I believe all of them wanted to go to either Spelman or something like that, right? And to be honest, y'all, that's what it kind of made me want to choose Spelman as a school. I don't know why, as a school to apply to or whatever. And I did end up applying to Spelman. Um, and I don't know, it was just something about that movie, right? And so, but the gist of it was them kind of just trying to maneuver this whole thing about going to college and still being friends, right? And something happened within their friendship. It was a rift in the friendship. They started arguing with each other, basically started not to be close anymore because one of them felt like one of the other friends were kind of getting a little bit more ahead of them, or they thought that she was getting a big head because she was going to a certain school, or because she got a scholarship and they didn't, or whatever. So in their mind, they're like, oh, she thinks she better than us, when she never even really said anything about it. She was just kind of talking to her friends like, yeah, y'all, I got in, I got a scholarship. And they're like, so, right? So I asked, have y'all seen that movie? Because it kind of, the gist of the movie of them falling out and things like that, to me it kind of relates to this story, because it's like this girl had her Shanquella had her own business. It looks like she was, trying to do well for herself. I mean, going on trips. She's 25 years old. And I mean, I don't know about nobody else, but when I was 25, I might have had it a little bit together, but I wasn't doing all of that. I didn't have my own business. I didn't have any of that, right? So if you have, and another thing, this is the reason why, for me, and let me know what y'all think. For me, why I can count on my hand the number of real friends. I mean, real authentic people. I can count them on my hand that know a whole lot about me, that I know I can call on, that they can also call on me. Um, Real authentic people in my life. I can count them on one hand when it comes to friends, right? And so when you have a group of friends, and this is why I'm saying I don't feel like they were really friends. Maybe some people out the group felt like they were, but other people out the group might have felt like, oh yeah, this just, when it come down to it, I just know her. Yeah, like she in my friend group, but we ain't really close like that, right? But when you have a whole group of friends, it's always gonna be some out of the group that ain't feeling the others, or can't control themselves, or have anger issues. Like it's always gonna be somebody that ain't with the plan of just going on a trip and just chilling out. Like it's always gonna be somebody they can't control they themselves when they drink alcohol. It always got to be the other friends who, okay, y'all make sure y'all look out because y'all know she can't have he or she can't have more than one or two drinks, right? So it's like, okay, now your friends got to be responsible for you because you can't control yourself. Like I feel like if you went on a birthday trip, where was the birthday boy? Why he get there late? Why did he get there late? Because he the birthday boy? Like I never understood that. Why are you going a whole day later than all of your friends that are coming for you? Like I feel like that's low key disrespectful. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That's probably why I only got the amount of friends that I could count on my hand, child. Because if I'm coming all the way to Cabo for my friend's birthday and they not even there, why I'm coming the day before? I mean, maybe unless they had something planned for him, or maybe that was the original date and everybody else decided to go before. It just seemed odd to me. I don't know. But anywho, so I tried my best. Like when those videos go viral and those violent videos, y'all, I can't take it. I can't take it. I cannot watch. I had to ask somebody, okay, what happened? Like, because I cannot watch it. Why? Because to me, it's putting, it's going, those violent videos are getting put inside a specific box in my brain, right? And when I go, it's going into my subconscious. And when I go to sleep at night, I end up dreaming about some type of violence, or waking up with like anxiety and stuff. Like I can't watch it. And I don't like to see anyone that can't help themselves, that are helpless, and people are treating them a certain way. Like I don't see how y'all sitting up watching it. I just can't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's ridiculous. Um, but in the video, evidently, she was getting beat up by one of the quote unquote friends, and she didn't have any clothes on. So this lady was naked, and you sitting up beating on her. Why? Hitting her all in the head, and why? And then allegedly, she said she was not going to fight back, right? So then I said, okay, well, let's dissect that. Let's dissect her saying, I'm not going to hit you back. No, I don't want to fight. I'm not going to hit you back. I feel like if a person is able to say that and verbalize that they don't want to engage in some type of altercation, then they are alert, right? And so then the question becomes, do you want to get hurt? Like, did you, or are you okay with someone hurting you? And to think that, I mean, of course, in looking at the video, I don't think that's what it is, but that's what somebody could question that, right? Why would you say that? Like, but I mean, you not having your clothes on and stuff like that. I mean, it appears she was helpless. Like maybe she couldn't like get up and run away, or try to get away from the girl or whatever. And then for the other girl, like she ought to be shamed of herself. That is not a friend. You don't ever do, like, to me in general, nobody should be done like that. Like, ain't y'all tired of fighting? Ain't y'all tired of being violent? Like, how is it that you were okay, like, in your heart, right? How were you okay to leave your quote unquote friend in Cabo, got on the plane, went home, talked to her parents? Like, that didn't hurt you? That don't hurt your heart to know that your friend laying up unalive somewhere that's not her home. Nobody is there with her. Her parents are not there with her. Like, that's a cold, you cold blooded, you cold, you cold, you a cold person. That's a cold group of friends. I don't care what happened between y'all. It could have been arguing. It could have been, I don't care. It could have been somebody was messing with somebody, man or woman or whatever. You mean to tell me your heart let you leave your friend? First of all, let your friend get beat up like that, right? And then your heart lets you leave your friend in a whole nother country. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Just on the strength of that, you ought to be ashamed. Imagine, imagine these quote unquote friends. Imagine your parents having to get the call that, oh, she had alcohol poisoning, she in Mexico. Like, what was that conversation like? How did that conversation even go? How did you even, if that was your friend, how did you even muster up the nerve to call and say, well, and this just me thinking about what they said. I don't know specifically what they said, but, well, I mean, she's still in Mexico. We came on back home. What? They need their ass whooped. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Any of their Instagrams or Twitters or whatever have been taken down. It should. Just off the strength of doing that, you ought to be shamed. They ought to be roasting them because how can you even, like that you walking around every day knowing that you left your friend there like that? Just think about it. How could you do that? How could anyone do that? Like, that is just crazy. And then somebody was taping it. Now, I don't know if it was they said it was a guy taping it or whatever, saying, oh, you ain't at least gonna fight back. What? What? Then none of y'all out of that group say, what the heck are y'all doing? Leave her alone. That's enough. What's going on? Um, let's talk. Something. You're 25. I mean, maybe your friend group is around your same age, 25, 26, maybe some 24, 27, right? Y'all on social media all day saying how grown you are, how we grown women, how self-care, luxury life and all of this, but then this is what we see. This is ridiculous. It don't make no sense. I really would like to get some insight into those friends. Each one of them, in my opinion, they need to be questioned. They need to be questioned. Because we know, 9 times out of 10, somebody knows something. Now, they said that Now the friend said she had alcohol poisoning, right? She had alcohol poisoning. Now, this my thing with that. The friend said that, but how the heck they know? Especially from somebody, especially from somebody who sat up and filmed that girl getting beat up like that. How you know that she got alcohol poisoning? Or is that something that you just said? How, who told you that? Did a nurse come? Did the doctor come and tell you that? How you know that? You tested her? How you know she had alcohol poisoning? Now, what are some of the symptoms? Because I'm a therapist, so I gotta relate it to mental health, right? And mental health, sometimes you deal with, substance use and things like that, right? So when someone has alcohol poisoning, they can have, what are some of the symptoms of that, right? They can have mental confusion, um, difficulty remaining conscious. They might vomit. Uh, they may sometimes have seizures. They really can't catch their breath. Um, their skin might be clammy. Like when you like try to hold their hand to something, it might feel like it's wet or they're sweating, right? So like clammy skin, um, things like that. So her actually verbally speaking, saying, I'm not going to fight back. No, I don't want to fight. I'm not going to fight back, right? I mean, she had to have some type of that lets me know she was at least a little bit alert to even verbalize that, even though she was getting hit upside her head and all this stuff for who knows what, right? Really for no reason, because ain't no reason for nobody to do anyone like that. Um, so now if you if you overdose on alcohol, like, right, then what does it cause, right? Brain damage and death, right? So that's alcohol poisoning. Now, but again, my thing is this: who said that and how they know? If it was one of the friends, I wouldn't believe a damn thing they said. Because first of all, they didn't left for their mama, for them to call her mom. First of all, I wouldn't have believed nothing they said because they didn't left my baby in Cabo by herself. Girl would have taken everything out of me not to go find one of them friends. Mm-mm-mm. 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 That's it's just mind blowing. Um, Now in the video, because also you can have slurred, alcohol when you're intoxicated. There's alcohol poisoning, things like that. They may have slurred speech. Um, Mood or behavior changes. Like you could tell that they don't really look well. Like, did she have any of these symptoms? But even if she did, this hood ish, how did y'all say, oh yeah, that's alcohol poisoning? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. In my opinion, that sounds like to me you might be covering something up. And you just come trying to come up with something because you a foe. You not a friend. You a foe. And it might not even be because she doing well. It could just be because it's some hood shit. Like they just hood and ain't got no regard for nobody else's life, right? They really don't consider her a friend or whatever, so they don't care what happened to her. It sometimes some of these stories we hear, it don't even have to be because they feel like the person doing better than them. They just either violent people or they just don't care. And that's a crazy way to be. Like, you really got to get yourself together. Like, even if none of them get charged, none of those quote unquote, none of those foes get charged or anything like that, y'all, it's gonna come back, right? It's gonna come back because again, the even if somebody didn't have anything specifically to do with it, the fact remains that you left her there and that was your friend. You got to think about that every day. Oh, and it's going to come back. Because whatever you put, especially the person who was sitting up beating on her like that, oh, it's going to come back. You better believe it. You bet to believe it. We all know that. We all know that, you know? So I wonder if she had any of those symptoms of alcohol poisoning. Was she I mean alcohol poisoning or, being severely intoxicated or whatever. It is common, you know what I'm saying? It happens or whatever. Um and if she did have alcohol, poisoning or whatever, usually it's serious, but what did they do anything to try to help her? Y'all ever seen those movies where they put them? I mean, when you don't know what to do, you just try anything. Okay, put her in the shower, throw some cold water, like anything. Okay, call the front desk, call the anything. Like y'all just sat there looking at her. What happened in Cabo? What happened between y'all to make y'all or to allow her to be treated like that when she was just going on a trip with friends? I don't understand it. Now, now the um autopsy report came back, the one that they did in I think in America, I believe. And so the autopsy report said that she had a spinal cord injury. A spinal cord injury. I believe it was a broken neck and her spine was cracked. Y'all, what do it take to crack somebody for someone's spine to be cracked? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? What does it take for someone's spine to be cracked? This happens when somebody has like a fall or um it's like something very severe. And spinal cord injuries are not it's not a joke. Hold on, I'm about to see y'all. I'm gonna look this up for a second. Um, I know for sure, it sometimes comes from like a fall or just something, a severe injury. Um, Hold on, y'all. Right. And so sometimes a severe injury could be, maybe like a sudden blow to your spine that would like crush it or fracture it. I mean, when you think about these things, you think about accidents, maybe people that play sports, extreme sports, stuff like that. What in the heck happened to where her spine was cracked? This allows my mind to go to someone being so angry, um someone with a lack of, again, self-control, right? It's almost like they had to black out if someone actually hit her or if someone did that blow to her spine like that. Like they had to black out. You know how much force? Like y'all, that's crazy. And then it said something about broken neck. Um, so did that happen after? It had to happen after the video because I wouldn't think that she would be coherent from like pain. Y'all, this is ridiculous. Um, so rest in peace to Shanquella Robinson. I feel really, really bad for her family. Um, we just want to make sure as well that we're being empathetic, and also while trying to, kind of figure out through social media what happened and all that stuff, right? To be respectful to the family because I can't even imagine. I'm sure that they're having a very difficult time. Um, you don't imagine your child. She was 25 years old, but that's still her mom's baby. You know what I mean? Um, you don't imagine your daughter going out of town with friends and not coming back home. And you don't even know or begin to know what really happened to her. And so, again, in my opinion, these are not friends. These were not friends. And so we got to be mindful of who we consider a friend as well. Even if we're going on a trip with just like a group of people. I mean, y'all, this happens all the time. People go on trips all the time. It's women going on trips by themselves. And this don't happen to them. You know what I mean? Like we got to be mindful of who we are around, right? And knowing how to kind of respond and react if we're not really sure about who we're not around. Like, bottom line is, we got to watch our surroundings around anybody. And people wonder why folks don't go nowhere. People stay at home. When the panorama happened, people were saying this is the best thing that ever happened to me because I don't like to go out. Like people that are homebodies, baby, they loved it because you can't trust people. You can't trust people. You know, you always got to be on alert. You always got to be, two steps ahead. You know what I mean? Like, because these types of things happen. These types of things happen. What could have possibly, and you may not even think something's gonna happen like that or whatever, but the people that you're around, the type of mindset that they have, like you just don't know. And you don't know, you never know what someone's going through mentally, right? So, shoot, you could consider them a friend. You could have known these people for years, but you don't really know what they're fighting mentally because we know that a lot of times people don't share that. People don't feel comfortable with sharing it. Why? Because it's taboo, because they, feel weak about it. They feel like it's just going to pass. They're going to get over it when really they need to get some help. Right. So if you're going on a trip with people, right, and they're fighting something mentally, it could take any little thing that would trigger them and they're going to go off. And it could be misplaced anger, misplaced sadness, and they're projecting that on someone else. Now look, now look, it's just sad, y'all. That's why we have to start talking about mental health. We have to start talking about how we're feeling about things. And it needs to be till somebody blue in the face until you're like, okay, I'm good. Maybe I need another session next week. Like we have got to start going to therapy on a regular basis. When you talk about what providers you need, I saw a tangent. I saw a video the other day, and this woman, she had to be in her she may have been in her mid or late 30s. And she was struggling with sharing the video because she was worried. She was extremely worried because she didn't know if she had breast cancer. And she started talking a lot about her symptoms and all of this. And she said something happened to her when she was a teenager. And ever since then, she would, as far as her physical symptoms, she had felt like her body had never been right and stuff like that. And it was kind of coming full circle, like this is a result of what happened then and all of this. And so she's like, well, when I became an adult, I thought, now mind you, the way that she described it, she has a full family, right? You know what I mean? She has, her dad, her grandmother, women and people in her family that you would assume would kind of know better, right? But she was like, when she became an adult, she didn't know that you needed a primary care doctor. She just thought, okay, you go to the OBGYN every, year or whatever, get checked, you know, let them check your breasts or whatever, and you good. You don't really need a primary care doctor. And I was thinking to myself, this woman is in her late 30s, middle 30s. How is it that you never knew that you needed a primary care doctor? And so I say, you know what? This is a great time to, it's about to be 2023. This is a great time to really go back to the basics in giving information, y'all. Oh knows that when you when you become an adult, you need to have your roster of providers that you go to every year to get your checkups. You need your primary care doctor. That's who you go to if you have anything minor, a cold, or you're just not feeling well, you don't know what it is or whatever. You can go to your usually primary care doctors. Shoot, they will see you from the time you a baby up until you become an adult, and then they'll refer you to someone else, right? Right? But you can go to them if you're not feeling well mentally. They can be the first point of contact or consultation when it comes to mental health. They can prescribe medication for your mental health. And if they feel like it's starting to be, the symptoms are a little bit more severe, right? And it's out of their scope, then they'll refer you to a psychiatrist for med management, right? But that is the first point of contact if you're not feeling well mentally, or just a mild illness, just, not feeling like yourself. That's the first person that you would go to. And then they'll let you know, hey, maybe maybe you need to see a specialist, or and a lot of insurance, if you have private insurance, right, you can't even go see a specialist until you see that primary care doctor, because they got to give you a referral, if you need to go to a dermatologist, or, something like that. So I said, how did this woman not know this? So she had not been going to the doctor on a regular basis for years, and felt like it's kind of, maybe if I had went sooner, or, whatever, I could have explained this to the doctor, but I didn't even know that I needed to go, like I needed to see a PCP. I'm like, what? You need to have your primary care doctor. As a woman, you need to have your OBGYN. You need to have your therapist. Therapy is part of the roster of providers. It don't mean that you're seeing the therapist every week. You might be seeing them once a month. Don't y'all know that now, when you do, even if you have a face-to-face provider, but mostly virtual, you can text the therapist, you can write journal entries to the therapist, you can have a phone conversation, you don't even have to do video. It's so many services out here now that could be beneficial to uh, help you become a more healthy individual, right? And just having ain't nothing like peace of mind with your health. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do better. You have your PCP, your OBGYN, your therapist, right? Shoot, you might have a dermatologist on your roster, right? Sometimes, you get a little bit older, your skin start doing some weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got your dermatologist on that roster as well. Now you might only see him once a year, but hey, that's cool. Then you got your dentist on hand because see, a lot of people don't know too. When you and I don't know who ain't once on no dentist, honey, but cause I don't play about that. But when you a lot of people who have dental issues or are not going to the dentist on a regular basis, every 6 months, right? To make sure everything is okay. Your dental health, your dental hygiene can affect other areas of your body. It can affect your heart. All y'all gotta do is look it up. Yeah, go to your good sis Google. She'll tell you it will affect your heart. Um, because if you're not getting your teeth clean on a regular basis, all of that plaque and stuff when you swallow it, child is nasty. That's just nasty. That's just nasty. Don't do that. Take your butt to have your dentist on your roster, and you find you some good providers, and you gonna have peace of mind because you know you can get your checkups, you getting your blood work done once a year to check everything. Make sure your blood work is good, what you might need to work on, what you got to improve. Is everything okay or whatever? Because I'm telling you too, as you get older, things start changing, child. You might have been able to live all willy-nilly in your 20s, but as you get older, you're gonna have to start getting some checkups. You're gonna have to start doing it, right? And so this young lady, she was saying, she's like, "Oh, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I just never even thought about it." So that's my rant on that. Make sure you have a roster of providers and make sure a therapist is in there, because all of the anxiety and worry that you have about all, these providers that you might need to see, or, you know, um, guilt about not seeing those providers and checking up on yourself and taking care of yourself, you can talk to them about it. So make sure that y'all have a therapist, PCP, OBGYN, dermatologist, dentist, and anybody else that you feel like that you need to see every 6 months or on a yearly basis to make sure that you're taking care of yourself mentally and physically. But yeah, so back to this. The bottom line is that these are foes and not friends, in my opinion. And um, the public wants answers about what happened to this young lady. This is ridiculous. No one should uh expect to go on a fun field trip and not come back home to their family. A successful young lady. So y'all continue to pray for the family. I pray that they find peace and healing. I hope that they get into some type of grief counseling to try to get some type of coping skills to cope with what happened to their loved one. Rest in peace to Shanquella. And y'all, let's do better and leave this hood ish alone. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.